LGD's turn to ban. Dire team ban. LGD's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining.
Okay, so welcome back, guys, to your coverage of the Sina Cup. This is game 2 of our best of 5 grand finals for this event, and it's Vici Gaming up against LGD China. And at the start of game 2, we find Vici Gaming with a 1-0 lead. I'm Basecap here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and it's my pleasure to welcome back 1437 to the cast.
Well, boys, looks like Alchemist is banned out this game. We won't see another Super Alchemist.
Are they gonna give Vici Gaming the Visage? It's pretty universally banned against them, so we'll see.
Could be. Looks like it, at least. I mean, the thing about LGD is, even from when I was playing in China, they are an extremely strong team, and they're very, very good in team fights and stuff. But their weakness has always been like drafting, kind of. Whenever drafting against them seems very like an open book, to say the least, compared to drafting against all the other Chinese teams where they can switch it up here and there and whatnot.
LGD's turn to pick.
So let's see what happens. I'm expecting more crazy picks come out of VG than I am from LGD, where LGD will be more, standard, really strong heroes and just try to outfight your opponent.
Honestly, I really felt that from what happened yesterday, LGD lost to what Vici Gaming were doing. Then they played basically Vici's strat against IG, beat them. And then game 1 they kind of failed to beat Vici Gaming with their own kind of lineup. It wasn't exactly what they were aiming for, but Vici Gaming kind of saw the plan and were able to shut down it just by pretty much banning out the really fast mech carriers. I think like the fact that the fact that LGD finished their lineup with the Lifestealer instead of somebody that could really promote 5-manning and get that tier 1 tower quickly really seemed to be the Achilles heel of the lineup. So we'll see what Vici Gaming do here. I'd love to see more weird stuff. Maybe they'll give LGD a lesson in Bristleback. Who knows?
That whole tower thing, that's it's more like China Dota in general. Chinese Dota, like, they like to 5-man early and they like to defend towers or push towers as a team. They don't do a lot of split pushing. We see often, burning and like they know how to split push, but early game they tend to do more team oriented things, and that's why we see them picking a lot of team fight heroes as well. Heroes who have really strong spells, and that's why I'm like you said, the team who takes the first tower ends up snowballing really hard and setting the pace for the game. And that's because both Chinese teams are either trying to take a tower or defend a tower. They're not trying to split push, another tower or something, or dodge fights.
Yeah, and a lot of these games early as well just seem to come down to predicting the enemy support's smoke ganks and some of their movements around the map, because these days, even those little things like a couple of deaths at the start of the game, teams just realize that, okay, if we're just a little bit stronger than you, if we have one more item up our sleeve, especially if it's a super fast mech, then they just go for it and try and close up the game.
And when you have that advantage from just that one tower, and both teams are consistently fighting each other, then it does end up making a difference. Those towers are making the difference, basically, the gold that they're getting. Okay. And looks like LGD are gonna be the ones with the clockwork, and VG is gonna be the one with the CM Bristleback.
I think this is Vici Gaming. Yeah, this is Vici Gaming playing exactly the same opening draft that LGD.
Maybe LGD are gonna pick Necro this game as well.
10 seconds.
Maybe.
I'm feeling it, dude. I'm feeling it. Like, this is a pretty good setup for a Necro game again by LGD. Their heroes can support him well enough. They have the clockwork initiation. They have the lots of bursts come out of Visage, and it could work if VG don't ban that Necro.
I feel like Vici must have some kind of plan, though, right? Like, they were the ones that ran this strategy before LGD did, and they just
Yeah?
beat it as well. So maybe they have a plan. And I mean, this CM Bristleback doesn't necessarily move you in the direction of, okay, we're going to do this super fast mech tier 1 push, snowball style. This is still a fairly flexible draft so far for Vici. And LGD just get rid of your tanky mid laners that really fit into the strategy, I guess. They get rid of the DK, they get rid of the Kanka. So they're still thinking that Vici are planning the same kind of strategy.
5 seconds remaining.
Like I said, China, they do everything together. So, oh boy, that's a really interesting Nyx pickup now. It could be even a preemptive counter to like Necro or something like that by VG Gaming.
Lots of burst damage.
That hero really wrecks Necro because, you know, the mana burn late game is just absolutely insane. So I often saw a lot of teams do that too, where like you get like an insurance pick that is decent for your team, like Nyx Assassin. So now LGD are rethinking, okay, do I really want Necro now? I mean, they have a Nyx, it could be a bad pick, so it kind of corners them into a different area of heroes. Some heroes who won't be too affected by Nyx Assassin. They're too vulnerable to him.
Yeah, it's similar to when we see the really early Pugna pickups and you say, well, this now restricts the rest of the draft, because the drafter is constantly thinking, well, I don't really want to pick that hero because his game plan is going to be influenced way too much by the Pugna. So same kind of idea. It's worth pointing out that Vici used pretty much all of their reserve time up until this point. So they were definitely thinking of, where is this draft going to head? How can we maybe head LGD off a little bit if they're going to head towards what we think is the obvious counter to our lineup? And it seems like it's worked out okay. But now LGD, they have some thinking time as well. They've got a whole minute of bonus time left. But I really think that LGD might just go back to a really familiar style. Yeah, well, they'll probably just end up settling back onto something familiar. I mean, what would you say are, if you think LGD Gaming, what are the picks? What's their ideal lineup? It's something 5-man-y, that's for sure.
For sure, I mean, they have a lot of burst damage already, but they pick Nyx, and this Nyx is most likely going to be going mid lane, and you want a melee, you know, strength hero on mid lane too, to fight against the Nyx Assassin, to, like, you know, farm and not be too affected by mana burn. But LGD banned those heroes out that Zhao Wei plays, and that's the DK and the Kunkka, unless they want to put the Clockwork on mid lane, which is also good. Clockwork can do really good against Nyx Assassin, and they do something else for their off lane. But like normally when you think Clock, you're automatically going to like, yeah, he's going off lane or something like that. Now that I think about it, Zhao Wei can play the Clockwork on mid, and they can even do some kind of aggro try if they want.
Yeah, the one thing that
be so bad.
Yeah, if it was going to be a support Nyx Assassin, then Vici Gaming could be a little bit vulnerable to an aggressive.
It really feels like, I mean, the CM, the Clockwork and Visage pickup was really strong compared to the Bristol Boss and CM pickup, but the next two picks from VG just seems like they're in control right now. The Chen, it's normally the way they think is Chen is normally countered by like Crystal Maiden, and they already picked the bench, and you know VG already have Crystal Maiden too, so the Chen like has much less counters in this game, this fourth pick Chen. But LGD just seeing that and just taking the Nyx instead without thinking too hard about what carry they want, which is pretty good because it's not too affected by Nyx Assassin either, and it's pretty decent against the Bristol Boss, the Life Stealer.
Yeah, not too bad to have against the Chen either. So I guess for LGD here, the question is, and this is often a question against the Chen, do you gamble and go for the aggressive tri lane? I don't know if you do, because if Vici Gaming just pick up somebody that can survive on that lane 3v1, then the Chen and the Crystal Maiden are just going to roll
I don't
think
they're gonna go aggro tri lane. No,
yeah.
Not anymore. Like the Chen just does too much if you go aggro against him. He can just roam the other two lanes and get some easy kills. And it's a Nyx and a Bristol boss. Like Bristol boss is gonna wreck any 1v1
10
lane
seconds
with a
remaining.
Chen roaming on it because he can tank, like he can dive, and
5
you can do a
seconds
lot.
Yeah,
remaining.
you get 2 goo up, and all of a
Yes.
sudden you're looking into the fog and wondering where the Chen is coming
Oh,
from.
okay, Storm.
LGD's
Oh,
turn.
Okay.
that's a Bristol boss carry then, with the Nyx off lane or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, Vici Gaming mixing things up a little bit. I guess it
Man,
could
I
still
love
be
this.
safe lane Storm, off lane Bristle, and Nyx mid.
Off lane. Did you say off lane Storm?
No, safe lane Storm, off lane Bristle,
Oh,
10
okay.
Nyx
seconds
Assassin.
Okay.
remaining.
I was like, wait, what?
That stumped you for a second. I was like, did I say
5
something really
seconds
outlandish?
remaining.
Like, uh-oh. but-
I thought I heard off lane Storm
No,
for some
safe
reason.
lane
That's-
Storm.
Reserve
Safe lane
time.
Storm.
Okay. No, the thing about safe lane Storm is
5
he's too
seconds
vulnerable to
remaining.
ganks if you throw him in the safe lane. And the thing about Storm is, again, you don't wanna just let him die. But LGD with the counter OD pick.
They didn't have much time, and they
Counter-
take the OD. But I don't know if you're Vici, don't you just put the Nyx Assassin against the OD, and you're like, well,
Yeah,
okay,
but you're still limited to where you're gonna put that Storm, I guess.
yeah.
I guess they can just put the Storm in the safe lane with the Bristol boss off now, which is okay too. I mean, it will push VG towards that now, like more
Yeah.
towards that since
Yeah.
there's an OD pickup. You don't want to put the freaking Storm against OD and let him. Suffer.
Sad game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, LGD, they don't have a heck of a lot of counter push, admittedly, and they've also got the OD, who is a fairly farmy core for the early game, but looks like a fairly comfortable lineup. Hopefully the supports will be able to move around a little bit.
Prepare
The one
for
problem
battle.
could be is that they don't really... Maybe the Lifestealer can move into the jungle to get some levels up on the Visage, but if DD and DDC don't have an alright time in the early game, we could end up with a slightly underleveled Visage when Vici Gaming are hitting that really crucial 5-man tempo, if they manage to get a fast mech on their Chen. But anyway, let's very quickly introduce the teams, and then I guess we can talk tactics a little bit more. So on LGD, currently 0-1 in this best of 5. We've got Rabbit on the OD, Xiao8's going to be your Lifestealer, Yao on the Clockwork, DDC on the Visage, and DD is the Vengeful Spirit.
Okay, this time I get VG.
Yep.
We have ROTK playing the Nyx Assassin, so it looks like it might be an offlane Nyx, or maybe mid. They can do either. Sylar playing the Storm. He swapped off with the Super there. Super actually picked the Storm first. And now we have Super playing Bristol Boss, FY playing Crystal Maiden, and Fenrir on the Chen. He has a really cool Chen set.
Yeah, it's sweet. The mount's really cool. But I'm a little bit surprised. Do you think we're going to see another swap here? Super Sylar? I mean, it looks like they're putting people on their lane as opposed to people on their heroes. Because I would definitely call Super the Storm Spirit player of this team.
Yeah, probably. But like, let's not. I don't know. I think all these Chinese players, they can play like any role.
Anything
Really
that they
well.
need to.
Salar practices all kinds of heroes from what I remember. So, but like swapping during the pause, maybe that gives away what VG is doing right now or something, and it gives more time for LGD to think through what they want to do with lanes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like that's the thing about pauses, it really ruins a lot of things. Like it makes you think, it gives you more time to think about like where your opponent's laning, how you want to lane optimally, how you can do some kind of cheesy stuff during, you know, the first, how you can get first blood or something like that, where normally teams shouldn't have this extra amount of time to think through stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, normally and during this kind of pause, you can also start thinking through, like, okay, what's best case scenario, what's worst case scenario, if we do this, what are they going to do, and you can almost work out what the equilibrium is going to be before anything happens, when instead you could have ended up, like, shuffling your lanes for the first 30 seconds, and it could be a small advantage to one team or the other. But anyway, we do have the unpause, we're going to get ourselves
And now they
underway.
swap again. ROTK is on the Bristol Boss, and Super is on the Nyx Assassin on the mid lane. Like,
Okay.
so yeah, like we speculated with the Nyx versus OD, and then Storm in the safe lane farming with the Maiden.
So it's people playing their lanes, and I think RTK's hero is the Bristleback, so he's going to be pretty happy with that. We'll
But
see
that
how
looks like an
Sylar
active
does.
tri lane. Yeah, that's what I meant by like the storm being in the safe lane. It's very vulnerable, and
30
LGD are gonna
seconds
go
to
aggro
battle.
challenge against it. They know that they have the upper hand here,
It's,
especially if it's a storm. Like
it's not a
they
hero
catch
that
on
you
this.
can leave 3v1, is the thing.
Oh,
So the
oh no,
Chen and the Crystal Maiden are pinned down
Yeah.
now on the top lane, helping him.
I wonder if that ward saw the Venge there, because the Venge just walked past and got up that hill. If the ward saw, then maybe they could try and do something different. Actually, they can't. They can't even send the storm in the offlane. Like this last pick storm and then OD. I mean, the last pick
The
OD
battle
against the storm
begins.
was just really. It's gonna really screw with VG here. But LGD, oh, they need to really win the lane though. They need to win this aggressive tri lane, which isn't going to be so difficult for them. Wow, look at LGD. They know that VG can't do much. They have a Chen who has, Holy Persuasion, and then there's a Storm, so they're just gonna walk up the hill and dominate.
Yeah, I mean, they're walking up completely blind
so
right
cool.
now. It's just like,
Yeah.
yep, whatever, we don't care.
Exactly. It's like, what do you have, bro? Come at me.
And the response from Vici is, we're gonna go sit at our tower. Like, just don't make eye contact. Like,
The
no.
Storm isn't gonna get anything here at this rate. At least he can soak some XP up, because, new patch, range heroes don't get denied as much XP as before.
So this is where you're like hard lane, hard life, and you go jungle, I guess. You start stacking up your small camp if you can, and maybe try and farm that a little bit. Because Sylar just can't walk in. If he gets hit
It's like
by
Sylar
any
is just gonna-
disable, he's dead.
Yeah, he can actually farm up the little camp, but it will cost him a bit. It looks like they're just gonna send a creep to support while the Chen and the Maiden just farm together. Which isn't so bad, but which isn't so good either at the same time, right?
Yeah, it's not great, but I think so long as the Storm Spirit doesn't die, things are okay, because you're committing 3 heroes up here if you're LGD. They can be a little bit more farmy if they want to. They can start running this side pull. They can get the extra experience up here, but the aim of the lane is to, I guess, shut up the Storm Spirit, hopefully kill him, and it becomes a question of, is investing 3 heroes to keep the Storm Spirit at 0 farm worth it at the end of the day?
It's not just keeping the Storm at 0 farm, you're securing your Nake's absolute free farm.
Yeah.
Like, this Nyx has not missed a single creep right now, and that's mainly because, you go aggro against this, and okay, you're shutting down your opponent carry, and you're getting free farm on your own carry. That's really good, and I think you can sacrifice one hero. Maybe what should happen is Venge or Vici should stay in the fog. But it looks like they're just gonna move instead. Secure the rune first. Let's see what they're gonna do right after this. I mean, the Storm he's got nothing right now. It's 0-0 still, so hard for him.
Yeah, Creepboy has moved in a little bit. He would like to go for those creeps, but he knows that there's a hasted Vengeful Spirit wandering around, and there could potentially be a dive if he moves out too far. So Sylar's just going to keep playing it patiently, playing it like the 3v1 lane that it is, and just kind of hang around and watch the
They just
DS
came
deny
right
his
back,
creeps. Yeah.
I think this is good. As long as they're doing this, LGD just need to not die on their other solo lanes, and this game should be like a bit of a cruise control. Like, they can just push some towers once they get some items, and VG, they're just gonna have to keep on trying to catch up. Storm is not a hero that does well without items, basically.
Yeah, he's going to need
Especially
a
when
couple
you
of
put him
minutes.
as like
Yeah, he's need like 10
your
minutes of free
carry
farm.
player on it.
Yeah. He's gonna need like 10 minutes of free farm if they can at some point buy that for him in this game. But the question is whether or not that can actually happen. So I was gonna grab his first last hit of the game at 3 minutes in, so he's not having a very fun time. The other problem for Vici Gaming is, while they are jungling, open wounds on Sylar, but he's a little bit too far out. While they are jungling, there is a Radiant Ward spotting all of their movements, so it's very difficult for them to use a smoke and maybe head over towards mid to gank up the OD or anything like that. They're going to be able to unblock their small camp right now, but Crystal Maiden and Chen, they haven't really accomplished too much aside from just grabbing some levels so far. They are going to be able to drag back DDC. The Centaur's coming in. Zhao 8. There's a stun on Sylar. A couple more right clicks and they finish him off. He's pretty tanky and he does have a salve and boots. Zhao 8 also in trouble. First blood drawn by the Centaur under the tower, and Vici Gaming. First blood double kill.
That was not very good. They fought under range creeps. Do you see how many range creeps are there?
Wow. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, the lane just
But
kept
seriously,
on
like,
getting
how did that happen?
It's because LGD didn't want to push the lane into their tower, right? Like they wanted to deny as much as they possibly can from the storm, so they were like tanking and stuff. And now there's like 4 range creeps there, and they were fighting under a shit ton of creeps. LGD had no creeps, and they just took so much damage and got double killed.
And I don't even think the instinct to fight there was wrong. They had full information of the fact that the Crystal Maiden and the Chen were there, but they're like, screw it, it's Crystal Maiden and Chen, we're just gonna kill their Storm
The
Spirit.
creep factor that just wrecked the Nyx there.
It's only 4 minutes in. Creeps are still pretty scary at this point.
They're always scary, dude. Like 10 minutes in, if there's that many creeps and you're diving some heroes, if you don't kill those creeps, they're gonna hurt a lot. Those creeps add up a lot.
So now things are looking more difficult for LGD because this tri-lane is no longer the bastion of safety that it once was for Zhao 8. And the supports have even just ditched him. DD's going bottom lane to try and help out Yao a little bit since the Bissell boss is spamming him off.
Nothing, so eight creeps, Boots Wand. Hard life for Storm, nonetheless.
Once he has 6, I guess he can start playing up a little bit more to try and grab some farm. He's just being ultra safe for the time being.
Yeah, he just needs to get 6 right now, because right now, like, the Nyx and Visage can kill him, basically.
Yao running into RTK, who's just trying to distribute this damage as much as he can. DD turns around and runs away. Yao deciding that he doesn't want to go in, is going to back off, goes in for the hook shot. Do they have a rocket flare to finish? No, so RTK actually ends up surviving, pops the salve, and he's going to be fine. I think that Yao could have stayed in for a little bit more battery assault damage, but he wanted to back off and reset the stacks and then hook shot back in. But RTK does end up surviving, and since they spotted the Vengeful Spirit bottom lane now, Sylar can play up a little bit more top lane, along with that level 6. And just drags back DDC, FY's coming in, drops the nukes, DDC gonna end up going down, Sylar eats a Soul Assumption to the face, but he's still fine, and Vici Gaming, 3rd kill on the board. So it was looking like hard game for Sylar, but now it's really looking like hard game for DDC. He's 0-2, he's almost level 4, but we're 6 minutes in, and this Vici Gaming safe lane is doing very well now.
Radiant structures.
Yeah, they're even starting to apply pressure onto LGD's tower. Like,
Jowett gets slowed down,
LGD,
gets hit by the bite. No, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah, LGD only have like a team fight / roaming combo. They don't really have this, push potential like BG does with Chen and Bristol Boss, and these heroes do really well under towers and stuff compared to LG. Like, it looks like they're gonna try and go for this fight, but Yao, he has no health, no mana. He won't be able to support them here. Ooh,
nice stun dodge from Sylar. Crystal Nova gonna go out into 3.
Oh
they bring
God,
down the Nyx. They do end up losing the Storm Spirit from the Soul Assumption. But LGD ends up only being 1 for 1. There was a nice little bit of body blocking going on there as well from Sylar, because the open wounds actually went out on Fenrir. They wanted to focus the Chen down first, but weren't able to do so.
You know how much damage that Test of Faith did?
How much? Did you
I
just check the combat log?
Yeah, that Test of Faith did 195 damage.
So 5 off the maximum.
Yeah, and that's why the Nyx just went splat. I was like, that Nyx has a lot of health. How's he gonna die? Like, Zhao 8 couldn't even use his stick because he just died from like almost 200 health from that Test of Faith. But Visage also getting the kill gave him a lot of XP. I think he got like solo XP for that kill on the
he's almost level 6.
The bench take it to, and he was like really far behind. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, mid lane they're gonna spot out Super. Gets cogsed up, the battery assault damage going through as well. They're even gonna drop the sanities for that, but still pick up the kill.
Oh well, a kill is a kill, right?
Yeah. And interestingly enough, Rabbit's actually going for a mech right now. I think it's probably the right decision, given that as soon as the Chen has his mech and he's not too far away, then Vici Gaming can probably start, at the very least, 4-manning a little bit, or start forcing down some towers. So I guess having the OD a little bit more combat ready does help. But what are your thoughts, going for this mech over going for the, what is now more traditional Midas build, I guess?
I think we've spoken
at length
about this before, and people have, Okay, looks like Vici is going for a smoke gank here. After the smoke gank, we'll
chat.
talk about that.
Okay,
This
sounds
guy's
good.
Got some action.
Vici looping around onto Yao,
Want
the
this tower.
unsuspecting
Pretty
victim.
good choice. Ooh, that sentry ward. They just
Oh,
saw
the
it.
observer
That
ward
ward.
gets dropped down. There's going to be a big roll in, however. Yao gets dragged. Only drops the cog.
Oh,
That's
one
gonna
more
be a
support's
kill.
coming in.
Yeah, TP support coming in from the Lifestealer. Xiao Tuji, what can he do here? He's the only one TPing onto the tier 1. There's a buyback from the Clockwork. They're trying to pincer in here. They jump inside the creep. Sylar's pretty low on mana. They get the stun onto Fenrir. He's being brought down. Sylar trying to use his mana to escape here. Jumps back to the tier 1. Looks like he's actually going to be okay. Rabbit gets the imprisonment off, but in comes a stun from Super. Only lands on one. Yao doesn't actually have the hookshot ready anymore. Ended up using it in the last engagement, so just going to be the one kill for LGD, and that cost them a buyback and everybody moving towards top lane. So not even sure if that was necessarily worth it.
Wow.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They created a lot of space. Like VG created a lot of space there, in my opinion. And Salah doing the great escape.
Yeah,
He knew exactly where he needed to go to get away from that one.
Yeah, zipped here, knew that he'd made enough space between him and his opponents and just walked past the tier 1 tower. And that's a difficult call to make as to how to get out there, because you've only got 800 mana as the Storm Spirit, you know, it's a pretty limited resource.
He had like 200 or something. He had to use a stick to make all that play
TP's
happen.
coming in, Yao and Zhao 8, but Super's here as well. He's got the Vendetta ready. There's a double damage up as well. Yao in trouble, but in comes the LGD supports. They bring down one. It's a 1-for-1 exchange so far.
That's
no
worth it again for VG. Like, they were 2 heroes ganking that guy, and LGD had to dedicate 4 heroes to get that one kill.
It ends up being 1-for-1 and the tower goes down. Anyway. And
Totally
undenied. RTK got the last hit.
I was gonna mention too, it's actually Zhao 8 playing next, not Zhao 2G.
Have I said Zhao 2G?
They actually they switched it up, right? So
is under attack.
Zhao 2G on the OD.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, I've just been calling him Rabbit now since he's just
yeah,
Rabbit.
Exactly.
I mean, if you want to change your tag, that's sweet. I can deal.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Vici Gaming, things are looking really good. 2 tier 1 towers down. I would expect, graphs are in their favor pretty heavily at the moment as well. And like we've said, all of these last couple of exchanges have just not worked out in LGD's favor. They've had heroes skittering all over the map at all times, and they're only turning out, not even turning out evenly. It's just kills, and then maybe a tower goes down as well for Vici in the meantime. So if you're LGD, I guess you start getting at least a little bit concerned here. Super's going to come in for an illusion rune. Xiao 8 is going to try and chase him down, but no real backup around, so Super's going to be fine to escape. And LGD just trying to build teamfight items if at all possible. Xiao 8's just working on his armlet. We do have the mech finished up for the OD, but if these next 5-on-5s don't necessarily go very well, then this could be looking very bad for LGD.
Do it with flair.
Yeah, oh yeah, okay, so you're right, the mech. Let's see how this happens here with this 5-man on mid lane.
Yeah, it's
Storm is also making his way there now.
Mech v mech, Sylar moving in from the side, Stun's gonna go out onto Rabbit. Will they be able to lock him down? Can they burst him? He's gonna pop the mech, but it's only for himself. Fenrir also pops his mech, not really doing too much. Yao jumps in with the cog, and the hookshot. RTK is still alive, Super dropping low. There is a sentry ward down here. They're trying to finish it off. Xiao 8 gets dragged back into tower range. It's 1-for-1 so far. DDC, another soul assumption charged up. RTK gets hit by the imprisoned, swap onto Rabbit from DD. Sylar rolls in, uses most of his mana on that one, but the Bristle Boss is still on the hunt, actually going to give up the dive. They did manage to find DDC down in the river, and ends up being a 2-for-1 overall.
Really good fight again coming out from VG. I mean, the way they're executing these fights is like they're always one step ahead of LGD. It's so hard for them to just straight up try to fight them. Like, they showed everything on mid lane. There's a dire ward that just sees all of LGD's positioning, so it was really easy for VG to fight there.
Oh, they get the open wins on Fenrir. RTK is going to try and bail him out. The mech's going to come back off cooldown. RTK re-engaging, gets stunned, gets hit by the cog damage as well, but a stun flies in from Super. He's still just barely alive. Soul Assumption knocks him down. Sylar rolling back, another imprisonment. They keep catching people. Swap out from DD. Fenrir is going to be brought down. Super turns around, gets the stun out, but Jiaowei able to dodge it with the rage. Sylar gets one more, brings himself up to a killing spree. And I guess the counter exchange there as LGD defends is going to end up being 3 for 1.
Yeah, like LGD went back to base, healed up, and TP'd back in, while VG still stayed in the fight from the last one and just took too much damage. Like if Bristol Boss had full health, there's no way he would have died, but he wasn't full health because of the last fight and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's worth pointing out how high Sylar has climbed on the net worth chart after all of these fights. He's stayed alive, he's only got the 1 death so far, which happened top lane, and yeah, now he's third highest. Rabbit gets stunned up again, there's going to be a roll-in, he gets bursted down before he can even use his mech or his stick charges, so he's going to buy back. He still has something to say about this fight, but they also end up losing the clock.
Have anything to say about this.
Yeah, I guess not, he's a little bit too late to the party.
Yeah. I mean, the buyback will save him the tower or something like that, but other than that, he lost quite a bit of gold for that one. Yeah. And he can't farm this either, so... Yeah. Okay, looks like VG are just gonna go straight for the rush. Okay, so I was gonna tell you about the OD thing. The thing about mech
let's go back to that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's go back to that. My idea of OD by mech is that if he buys a mech, he has no damage. Like, if you buy a Midas, you can build into the late game, and late game OD is absolutely, like, amazing. That hero is, one of the hardest of hard carries. But if you buy a mech, then you have no damage, and if you go for a team fight because you have a mech and you lose that team fight, you're basically out of the game. There's no way for you to come back into the game unless your opponent just gives you a shit ton of space to farm all your items after that. And also mech takes up an item slot that you don't really want. Yeah. You end up selling it later or something.
If it goes really late, yeah.
Whereas a Midas and then you just let your allies build a mech is way better because OD is a really hard carry. Why would you want to have that?
Yeah, we're talking about a hero that can, with if he has Hex, Refresher, Shivas, he can probably wipe out your entire team in one fell swoop. So. And
this mech OD and a Midas OD probably do the same amount of damage right now. Except Midas will help you get to your next item and your third item and your fourth item.
Oh, they try and bring down the tier 1, they get it. Jiaowei's gonna pop out as they get the imprisonment out onto the clockwork. They can keep him alive for now. Sylar jumps in very aggressively. He's dropping low, but he's not dead just yet. The Sanity's Eclipse did very little. The mech and the Hand of God brings everyone on Vici Gaming back up to full HP. DDC, trapped in the river, tries to fight against Sylar, but I think he's about to end up going down. And DD, the only person who's going to be able to walk away from that fight.
Yeah, and that's all she wrote. Like, the chances of LGD even coming back in this game is so little now because of, I think in our game, OD always has a chance to come back, but in this game, he's playing against a Nyx Assassin, which is really, really hard to play against when you're OD. And like I said, he's got a mech, which is, it's scaling off already, really hard.
Yeah, and if you're gonna get anywhere as the OD here, you have to put a BKB in somewhere, and that's another whole lot of gold to farm if you're Rabbit at this point. And if you look at the net worth graph, well, not even the graph, just look at the net worth, it's pretty scary. Chen is now more farmed than Rabbit.
There isn't a single hero who has more net worth than VG on LGD side. Oh god, the CM is so geared. Her net worth.
Yeah, Midas Urn, this is one big Crystal Maiden.
Oh boy. I think there's something on the crater, I don't know.
It's just.
Oh, he's got phase boots. He's got phase boots. That's why I was like wondering. Wait, that's not.
So you're not a big fan of the phase boots, Crystal Maiden, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that either.
But look, you've got the sick deeps. You've got Midas plus. You've got 30 attack speed and
if you're like
24 damage.
Normally, you're not a freaking fat Crystal Maiden like this, right?
Yeah.
So, if I buy Midas, I normally go like Tranquil Boots Midas because the Checker Boots will help me, you know, run around and
Gank.
gank. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking if I'm playing Crystal Maiden here. But I think he got a big surge of gold when he had regular boots by getting some kills or a tower or something, and then he just went like, okay, let's just buy the Midas, and then it's like, oh, okay, let's just buy an urn now and then buy base boots. Because like if you have Trackle boots, you literally never have to go back to base.
Yeah.
That item is so good on Crystal Maiden. You just run around, you freeze creeps in the jungle, get gold, and then you just full health.
And then night falls, you go and gank somebody, you get some more gold, you back off to the jungle.
This hero farms so good in this version. I love it.
Yeah, the Crystal Maiden is really fun to play. But so LGD, they're still holding on. They're down 10k gold, they're down 10k experience. Super is just hunting for pickoffs at this point. And everyone in LGD is just kind of farming behind Rabbit right now. Though Vici Gaming on their way in. There is an Orchid finished up on the Storm Spirit. We've got a Force Staff on the Nyx Assassin. RTK has a BKB. Fenrir has 1800 gold. And the hookshot's going to end up missing on Super as he turns the corner. Down go the familiars. Yao's been infested up. There's a roll-in from Sylar who's focusing on Rabbit for now. The familiar drop's been used. They get resummoned, they get dropped down, but as does Yao. Xiao 8 outside of his raid, just getting beaten on by the Bristle Boss, RTK, in the house. Defensive imprisonment's going to keep DDC alive for a little bit. Sylar fairly low. RTK diving a little bit too greedily. It's going to end up going down 3 for 1. Ends up being the overall exchange.
ROTK. He went straight for tier 4s for that one.
Yeah,
oh man. He got the life stealer though.
Radiant's middle tower.
Yeah,
just needed to type worth in alt chat and then, you know, it would have been fine.
Another snowball coming out from Vici. They're just taking out all of their towers.
Yeah, roll in. There's gonna be a swap, but the drag continues. Rabbit still silenced up. Another huge Chen nuke flies in. Rabbit pops the mech to end up surviving. Yao tries for a hookshot, but just grabs his own creeps slash maybe one of the Chen creeps. And Vici Gaming should be quite easily, well, should be very easy for them just to back off here and go grab a little bit of extra farm.
Yeah, all they have to do now is just back up. Go take the other tier 2 tower or something if they want. It's just more safe for them to do that and go. Like LGD's comeback potential is it's really really low.
It's very nearly nil, but there's still some smokes left. There's still some moves to be made, so looks like LGD are going to be playing
I would say if LGD was split pushing somehow some towers and they had some minuses, that they will have a better chance of coming back into this game. But
yeah, they run straight into the middle of everyone. Super's going to pop the Carapace. Xiao 8 focusing on the Nyx for now, but he gets force staffed out. The Cog is going to isolate RTK on the other side of this fight, but he's just waiting for his team. Oh my god!
The quick test of faith. Oh boy, Xiao 8 realized that this was not a good situation.
Yeah, so he pops out, he goes down, Sylar zips in, they're gonna bring down DD. DDC and Yao, will they be able to run? Well, that's the GG. Xiao 8 just got sent back to the enemy fountain, courtesy of the Chen, and died. So that's GG.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that on the whole fight on top lane where BG won and not going for a farmish build on OD, I guess, who needed to become a boss on this map.
Yeah, I think he panicked a little bit after what happened on top lane. It was like, oh no, the Chen, Crystal Maiden, and Storm Spirit.
I saw it before too,
really?
where like
before
guys,
that even happened.
Even from the safe lane, like Rabbit buys a mech first, and then he starts building his other carry items later. Like, and I see him not even use the mech. Maybe he used the mech like 3 times the entire game or something, and then ends up selling it. So I don't know. I mean, I guess in this game they don't have another hero who can buy it, but nonetheless, maybe they're just playing it wrong. Like you can see, as soon as you lose one team fight with a mech on a key hero like OD or any other, you know, guy, you just kind of lose the game. There's just higher chance of you just losing the game straight up.
Well, especially somebody that has sort of more damage-oriented items in their build, I guess. Like I think someone like a Viper, maybe if you build the
Yeah,
mech,
yeah, Viper's
you die,
perfect.
but it's great.
But
It's amazing
that I
item
like.
on the
Yeah,
Viper. Yeah.
like I love buying treads and a mech on Viper. That's just absolutely amazing. But because he has such consistent damage from just his spells alone. But yeah, OD scales so good with items, so damage items. And well, that's that.
That's
I
that for
guess.
game 2. Still a full best of 5, guys. So Vici Gaming now leading 2-0. We're going to be jumping out to a short break. We'll be back with game 3, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope to see you then.